Hey everyone, welcome to the Royce Reports. I'm your host Royce, and in today's video, we have a lot to talk about. It looks as if Sony is actually on fire and not in the good way. There's a lot of negative stuff happening over at Sony Studios right now, and not just Sony Studios, but Bungie as well. Layoffs are happening across the industry, so let's talk about it. All right, if you've been on the internet, you probably know that the past couple of days, there's been a few layoffs going on over at the Sony camp, right? Especially under Bungie. And that's a huge shocker to many because there was a lot of investment in Bungie. They spent $1.2 billion in retaining this talent. And it seems that a lot has been going on. There's been a huge shakeup happening at Sony. And this goes back to the beginning of this generation. That's where all of this seems to stem from, right? It seems that Sony has been making bad decision after bad decision, and they just can't stop. And it seems that now that Jim Ryan is kind of out of the house, he doesn't officially leave until April, but now that he's kind of transitioning out, now they're trying to go back and fix some of the mistakes that he brought upon the company. So what are some of those mistakes? Let me kind of go over a few of them before we get into what's been going on lately. So at this beginning of this generation, we had Sony reveal the PlayStation 5, and a lot of people were amazed by it and loved it, even though it looks pretty bad. It looks like Seto Kaiba himself. But the thing is, when they revealed the PlayStation 5, they said to everybody that they believe in generation, meaning you could only play PlayStation 5 games on PlayStation 5, and you could not play any other game from any other generation on that system. And you actually had people out there fanboying about this, saying like, this is a great thing, you know, like who needs old games when I have new games? I just spent $1,000 in my PlayStation 4 collection, but I don't need it. New generation, new me. I don't need that weight holding me back. I need all this brand new technology. But after some sensible people kind of outcried about it, they ended up reverting back and pretty much allowing PlayStation 4 to be backwards compatible on the PlayStation 5, which was a good idea. So that was one of the weird decisions that they decided to do. Another one showed us how greedy Sony really is in terms of upgrades. So there was a few games that came out that were free upgrades. You got a free upgrade on Horizon, you got a free upgrade on God of War, and that's pretty much where it stopped, because after that, you had to pay a surcharge. Well, if you wanted Spider-Man Remastered, oh, okay, that's a $10 upgrade. Or you could get the Miles Morales Special Edition and get it for free if you just pay the deluxe edition price. If you want to get the Uncharted series, if you wanted to get, I don't know, The Last of Us Part 1 remastered, if you wanted to get Ghost of Tsushima remastered or Death Stranding remastered, well, guess what? Fuck you, pay me. That's the way they went about it. And I don't know who is stupid enough to do something like that. I mean, really, who would be stupid enough to pay for those? Who? Well, I guess some people who don't think properly. That's who. And so they started charging for that stuff. And they still do. That's still something that you don't get for free. If you want cloud saves, well, how does Xbox do it? Free? All right, pay me. That's how we're going to do it. And so they continue to do these weird little money grabs that they want to get you at, like these little tiny things that you kind of like and you kind of need for your console. That's not free, baby. That is money that we in our pockets. Yeah, boy, that's what they want you for, which is really sad to see, right? I mean, obviously we knew this, companies all want money, but when your competitor is doing these things for free, you might think, well, we kind of got to do it for free too. Nope, not Sony. In fact, Sony is doing so well in multiple markets that they're leading by 9-1 in some places, that they could feel like, you know what? Let's increase the price of our console. Let's put out a new console, and it's actually going to be cheaper for us to make, but we're still going to charge the same price because that's right, money. That's all they want. That's all they want is money, money, money. Mr. Krabs over here. So they do all that. this generation has been nothing but rockiness. And you're like, well, at least I get those great PlayStation exclusives, those great PlayStation games. That's the reason why I'm here. It's the reason why I own that thing. Well, guess what? All those studios that you love, like Naughty Dog and all those games, those great sad dad games that you want to play, well, not anymore. We're going to games as a service. We're actually shifting our model from great exclusives to games as a service. And we're going to do this with the help of great old Bungie. Yeah, they are going to be very important for us in order to achieve our goal of having multiple games as a service underneath the PlayStation banner. So what does Bungie do when they get acquired by Sony after spending $3.6 billion on them, after $1.2 billion of retention for employees to ensure them that we are going to be here for you and you are going nowhere? Well, they axe the Last of Us factions. They go up to Naughty Dog and they say, this game is trash. We are not letting you put this game out. Even though Naughty Dog has been with PlayStation, has been working with PlayStation exclusively since the PlayStation 1 days. Let's have the new guy come in here who's been here since breakfast, tell me how to run my studio and tell me what games I should be canceling or should be chasing after. That is such a shitty feeling. But guess what? That's exactly what happened. There is just turmoil because of this. There's a lot of people who are upset. There's even studios that have threatened to leave PlayStation if this continues. And so here we are today with all of that goodness that PlayStation has been doing since the start of this generation. And you know what's wild is that this could happen to PlayStation and they are completely fine. Record-breaking profits year after year. The best-selling PlayStation platform it has ever been. The fastest selling PlayStation. And guess what? You are not safe. You are not safe underneath their wing. That sucks. That's a scary feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling to know that your livelihood is at stake because a company decides that they made a mistake and forced you to do something that you didn't want to do in the first place. And after they realize that mistake, they're now coming after you and firing you and sending your ass home and take all your belongings with you. And don't let the door hit you on the way out. That is how they're treating all of these people. So what's going on with Bungie? So a lot, actually. So there's actually a report from Paul Tassi. He did a great job summarizing everything that's been going on over there. And it's a Forbes article. So if you want to read it for yourself, I'll put it down in the link below. But I'm going to cherry pick some of this stuff and kind of talk about it. While owned by Sony, Bungie continues to operate as an independent arm. A wider Sony ask for spending cuts resulted in Bungie deciding on a large number of layoffs. Estimates say around 100 employees, 8% of the company. With them deciding who was laid off and how that process unfolded, going back on what was said a year and a half ago that the acquisition would not mean layoffs. Sony is not replacing anyone with internal employees, but some of the cut roles may now be outsourced entirely. What was the point of spending that money if you're going to end up firing these people a year and some change later? It really doesn't seem to be worth it, especially with the talent that you are cutting. These aren't just your everyday bill from accounting or the front desk lady or a couple of janitors. No, these are people that have been with Bungie since pre-Halo days. Pre-Halo, over 25 years ago. Those people are getting fired. The guy that is helped create the Halo's theme is now jobless. The person who created the Halo logo is now gone. The company purposefully tried to internally hide just how many people had been fired, and only outside reporting after the fact came up with the approximately 100 number. It came to light Bungie had fired some incredibly storied veterans of the company, like its composer, Michael Salvatore, there since the pre-Halo days, and Lorraine McLeese, who designed the original Halo logo. That is sad. That means that no one is safe underneath this Bungie. And it goes to show that Bungie is not the same Bungie that created Halo, and it's not the same Bungie that made Destiny great. Because the Destiny that I've heard about, the new Destiny that everyone's playing, everyone complains about it. Employees were told that Bungie was on track for a 45% revenue miss based on previous projections for the year. It's unclear if the estimates were too high in the first place. I'm hearing they were unrealistic, but the miss also comes with base problems for the series. So this miss is substantial. And I don't actually think this is Sony's fault. Partially it is, but I think this is Bungie's fault. You see a kind of a situation going on here, right? It is something that is repeating itself time and time again. And there's that classic saying, what is the saying?
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
So that is what's crazy, is that Bungie has left Microsoft, has left Activision, and now is coming into Sony and doing this. And it seems to me that maybe there's a trend going on here that it wasn't Microsoft's fault, it wasn't Activision's fault, maybe it was actually Bungie's fault. They entered their own evil villain arc by allowing these people to leave in the manner that they did. Some people didn't even know that they were fired until they walked into the building to try to scan in, and it wouldn't let them scan in. Employees found themselves blocked out of all their accounts, systems, email, before many knew they had been laid off, and that was their first indicator. Others had short meetings in which they were told they were fired, but also not to tell anyone about it. Others found out the layoffs were happening on Twitter. Employees were often not allowed to say goodbye to other team members or exchange contact info, which had to be done after the fact. Many team/line managers had no idea who's being cut from their teams until it happened. Some teams only lost a few people, others were decimated. Some employee benefits expire at the end of the month, meaning being fired on the 30th means just a single day of additional coverage for those benefits. Healthcare will continue as Cobra coverage for 3 months as long as severance. I can't imagine working in a place like that will cut ties with you that fast and not even let you know about it. And the way they go about it is that they could have waited until the 1st of November to do all these firings, but they waited until the 30th of October to prevent people from getting any more benefits while they search for another job. That is some evil, evil shit right there. And it's not just Bungie. There's a Sony-wide restructuring going on right now. So according to Peter Ovo on Twitter, according to unverified rumors, Sony PlayStation is in serious trouble. This is what it says verbatim. Nearly all teams have a dispute with Sony. A pair of studios even threatened to leave the publisher, which I heard it was Naughty Dog was one of the people that were threatening to leave. Sony counter-threatened to close them. 95% of the problem is over not wanting to do games as a service. Single player is where most teams want to remain. And this is coming from Lumberjack Ryan, who ended up deleting this tweet. This is the same guy that was stating a few months ago that Sony was going to be buying Take-Two, which obviously not if you see how they're doing things here, because a couple of things, right? Sony can't afford Take-Two. I don't care what you say. They just can't, because they're still paying off payments that they owe. They have not been given permission by Sony that owns them, the greater SIE company. And number 3, Take-Two doesn't want to be bought. So they're not going to get Take-Two. And I don't know where that guy got that information from, but he was trying to share that and saying that he knows things. So take what he says with a grain of salt. If this is true or not, I'm not sure. But because a lot of Sony fans wanted to act as if that was true, I'm going to act as if this is also true. Pretty much saying that right now, Sony is not looking hot. This is coming from Jason Schreier's article. The layoffs are part of a larger money-saving initiative at Sony's PlayStation unit, which has also cut employees at studios such as Naughty Dog, Media Molecule, and its San Mateo office. So this is not just Bungie being affected, it is also other people across Sony. And it seems to me that this is an accumulation of everything that's been going on since the beginning of this generation. I think that the Jim Ryan being retired, as you would like to say, was on purpose, right? I don't think he's getting retired. He is being forced retired. He's being fired. I 100% believe that is true. I think that he spent the Sony's money doing dumb things. Changing all of your single player studios into a games as a service type video games is a very risky move on itself. That is a huge risk. Many games that try to go after this and companies that own those people usually go under, or they lay off a bunch of people because the game's not very successful. You don't really have many success stories for games as a service. Even people with billions of dollars behind them, like Amazon, cannot get this right. It really is very rare. And Sony decided to have everybody pitch in on this effort, which was very stupid. Stupid decision. And now they have to reverse course. And there's even rumors that in order to attain this reverse course, they're going to be spending more money on getting exclusives from third parties and wait until their own internal studios can get back on their feet and actually focus on things that they want to focus on. Jim Ryan has also led the company out of Japan, not really focusing on the Japan audience, has led some discourse there as well. He also spent a lot of money on lawyers, on flights, on a bunch of campaign to try to prevent the Activision Blizzard deal from going through for Xbox, and to no avail apparently, because it went through, and Xbox now owns ABK, including COD. So that didn't really work out for him in the long run. And I think because of everything that's been going on, they're pretty much giving him the boot and saying, look, man, you got to go. See ya. Because normally in a position like this, you find a replacement for you, and then you kind of have a transition period. They're not even doing that. They're kicking him out and they're having someone else be in charge while they find a new head of Sony. So it is crazy to see all this. I don't take any of the firing lightly, and I feel bad for every single person that has been laid off because of all of this, because it's not their fault. They're just doing what the company wants them to do, and it's a sad state of affairs right now. And I hope that all the people that have been affected by this can get on their feet and look for something else. And hopefully 343 has the right mind to hire some of these people, because they are talented. And I'd love to see a score by the original composer of Halo come back for 343's Halo. That would be really cool. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this is doom and gloom for PlayStation? Or do you think PlayStation is going to do just fine regardless? What do you guys think? Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, subscribe, do that thing, because I'd really appreciate it, and it'd be really cool to see my subscriber count go up. So if you're interested, you know where to find me. So I'll be seeing you guys on the next one, and remember, take it easy.